All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Super Metroid Rando League Finals match. We've got Zeb316 representing Team V.I.L.E.P.L.U.M.E and Eddie representing the Chicago Bullies. This is the Power Suit matchup, so it's going to be Chozo, Vanilla Area, and Boss Shuffle. I'm Glove, joined on comms by Cutie. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for this match. These are two very evenly matched competitors at this mode, and this is a very close mode. This mode lends itself to close races. So,
I mean, deadass. I think this is the number one Power Suit player versus the number two Power Suit player. I'll let you decide which one's which.
yeah, I think so. That's probably pretty fair to say.
It's also... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I say they're both really good at the mode. I think what could happen is Zeb has a little bit more experience with Rando in general, though. So if something weird happens, I think Zeb is a little bit more prepared to handle it than Eddie might be. But so here we go.
It's also just pretty cool to see this matchup. It is sort of the master against the protege. Zeb trained up Eddie so hard. How much duress, I don't know. Eddie literally spent the past few months bugging everyone for races of this mode, and I mean, he's already got the top level movement, and he's just been like a sponge soaking up everything there is to know about this mode. So we're in for a really exciting match.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is one of the matchups everyone kind of wanted to see out of a finals, with Eddie learning so much from Zeb, because he came into this tournament without a bunch of randomizer experience. So
yeah, I mean, Eddie. So when Stashi was asking Eddie about Eddie, turn off your alerts.
Oh my gosh. No. Okay, a screw attack seed. So this is interesting. So their logical first ammo could be at Gauntlet. So that's what's interesting about the screw attack there. Gauntlet is only open with bombs and 2 tanks, or with screw attack. Because the logic only cares about what is on the Chozo statues there. So that Chozo statue puts Gauntlet in logic, which means it could be their first logical ammo.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, already we sort of have both a decision point and a point where both of these runners will be able to read something about the seed, which is, I mean, it's essential for this mode, maybe more than any other mode. There's a certain amount of deduction you can do.
I think that's the coolest part, and one of the biggest positives of Chozo is that, in general, with ammo logic and other logic and such, you're playing out of logic in certain situations, and you can actually deduce certain locations might not actually be beneficial for you to check. Also worth noting that reserve in the ceiling is also pretty nice. If they end up going down into Lower Norfair without a way out of Dragon, and Dragon is there, that reserve tank makes setting up a Crystal Flash to fight Dragon with a flash suit much easier.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, basically, if you have Varia's suit, which you certainly would if Dragon's in LN, then you can just get hit by Dragon's body, and because it deals 80 damage, if you pop the reserve, it'll double hit you for 80, and you'll be at 20 health.
Yep.
So it's a perfect setup. So fresh, so clean.
Yeah, and it makes it, because otherwise it can be pretty hard to route your damage on Dragon. With Dragon dealing 80, it's not a really easy number to get down to below 50 with. So there's super missiles. So Gauntlet at this point, could anything.
I think it's pretty unreasonable to do Gauntlet here.
I don't think you check it either, no. Power bombs are likely to show up. You have a lot of miners to check. I don't think you check Gauntlet here, but it does mean that Gauntlet is not guaranteed ammo with... Actually, no, Gauntlet is still your ammo. Never mind, because you need ammo to get to that check. Yeah, Gauntlet is still your ammo. So you don't check Gauntlet. I'm being silly.
It could technically
It could be
it could be
bombs. Yeah.
right. It could be bombs. It could be missile, supers, power bombs. I think are all
Yep.
valid choices at this point. So
It has to be any of those though, because it needs to be able to get you a new item.
right.
Yep.
It's just not worth it in this situation to go that far out of your way for 3 ammo packs of indeterminate type.
Yep. Definitely.
Two of which, like, there's a decent chance you just don't get to go to the back.
Yep. That as well, without bombs or power bombs.
Mm-hmm. Eddie doing his cheater tech.
So grapple beam, we're not going to be seeing any early X-ray deboosts here. In this mode, early X-ray deboost is a very powerful tool. It's not. It's almost necessary at this level, I think, if you want to be at the highest level.
The only reason you're skipping it is because you're making a play.
Yeah, exactly. The major locations are so much more powerful in this mode than major minor because the E-tanks are not there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That grapple also means we don't have to worry about Crystal Flash shenanigans.
Yep. It's a way out of Dragon if they find Dragon ever without the gravity suit.
Mm-hmm. And not for nothing. Like, let's say they find a gravity suit and still kind of crappy ammo. Grapple's just a good way to kill Dre, straight up, even if you have gravity suit.
It's the ammo save even more so than the time, just because, especially if you've not seen Ridley yet, you want to keep your ammo up for that fight. And for those who don't know, I guess we should explain the Chozo. So Chozo basically, there's boss prizes, and then a Chozo statue is where all your major items are going to be, and it has everything you need to beat the game. So the Chozo statues have 10 missiles, 10 supers, 5 power bombs, and then all the upgrades that you can get, as well as 3 E-tanks and a reserve.
I did appreciate Eddie trying to get cute there with that grapple, even if it was ultimately unsuccessful.
Yep. And so because the Chozo statues have everything you need to beat the game does not account for anything other than those when deciding logic for placement.
Right.
And since it's the Chozo statues here, this is also a major here, the Spore Spawn supers with the high jump boots.
High jump boots are obviously a great item.
Definitely.
Means just the comfort. It's comfort. We get to avoid high jump plus lava dive. We get to avoid hypo jump, even though both of these runners are very skilled at both of those. It's slower, and it's just not fun to have to rely on that.
Not at all.
Like, I don't care who you are. Every single runner at some point loses a minute to hypo jump.
Yes. Or sometimes 8. It just happens like that. It's one of those tricks. And then with the missile there, so that means we've seen 0 E-tanks, 0 reserves, a missile, and a super at Chozo statues so far. And then another thing about this mode is generally it's not expected of you to have to be going through Upper Norfair heated rooms without the Varia suit, just because you need 2 for Ice Beam, 3 for Bubble Mountain and Speed Booster Chozo tanks to get there. With the Speed Booster, it's only 2 to get the Speed Booster item, but it just really makes the sheer number of seeds in which it is even in logic very small, just because all those tanks need to be, relatively easily accessible.
Yeah, Eddie playing it a little bit safer there, not going for any sort of hero shot. Unless he was trying to get the down grab, I'm actually not sure if you can get the down grab at the top of Red Tower without any beam. Like, I know even Plasma's enough, but I don't know if P-Shooter works.
I feel like P-Shooter would. That's just based on my knowledge of situations where P-Shooter works and Plasma doesn't. So if Plasma works, I would think P-Shooter would. So there's the other missile at the Chozo statue, which means that one of either Gauntlet or 230 has a super. And if Gauntlet doesn't have it, Gauntlet has a way to get to 230, basically.
Mm.
And when you find missiles like that, yeah, it's not a major item, but it also does inform your decision making later. If you're in a situation where you're debating whether or not to skip a certain check, knowing that it can't be missiles anymore is really big, because it makes the checks you do in the future a lot more powerful. If it's stuff you're thinking about checking in a situation where you probably don't need to check it, but it has good items that could speed you up, etc. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to see those if you can keep track of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yep, there's the Varisuit right there.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect to be seeing Varisuit either here or at like high jump.
Yep, absolutely. Especially since we've seen 0 E-tanks at this point. It would be pretty unlikely to have everything be the health that you need to get to like ice. You'd need like Kraid to be. You need the Kraid boss to be Kraid pretty much, so you could beat it and get a major there, that kind of stuff. So it was pretty likely Vari was going to show up somewhere.
Yeah, so I think if you're an Eddie fan right now, the big difference is you want Charge to be on path literally as soon as possible. Whereas for Zeb, you want a forced ammo hunt situation, because that is where Zeb thrives, I think, arguably even more than any other runner.
I agree. Another situation with early charge though that would still be kind of bad is early charge with no beam, with like a poor beam combination. I think a lot of people are prone to picking up, and there's the early charge. Are prone to picking up extra ammo when they have a bad beam, because they don't have it mapped out in their head, and I think that's another one of Zeb's strong suits is his minor management.
Absolutely. That was a sick D-boost there. I kind of ruined at the end, but I don't think I've seen that one before.
So charge beam early is nice, but with only the pea shooter, it's kind of nothing still. You're still picking up almost any bit of ammo that you find, including missiles, just because it's such a weak beam, and you want to be able to kill bosses fast. So here's Business Center.
I wonder if Zeb won't skip ice.
I think it's hard to skip without gravity. I think if you have gravity, you skip it 10 times out of 10. But without gravity, It's a little different.
So when I say skip here, I am essentially saying, like, wait until you are leaving Norfair. I think the issue with offsetting stuff is just like, if gravity is there, you get to skip screw attack, and that's huge.
So one thing to comment on, they're checking these in different orders. So there's 2 modes of thought here. One is if your gravity suit is at the high jump boots, which is a faster check that you're going to do regardless. You then delay the ice check until after Lower Norfair if you don't have a way past to Batuan's hallway or a Zebetite skip. So you might be able to skip the ice beam check. The logic for checking ice beam first is that it's a little bit faster, not that much, like maybe 30 frames, I think, if like completely optimal, like it's pretty much nothing. But if you spike speed booster here at high jump, you're much closer to the Frog Speedway. So it's 2 different like reasons for doing each one first, and each runner having a different reason for which one they're doing first here. And if they didn't have the Varisuit, generally speaking, you would want to do ice first, just in case you run into an energy tank here at high jump to refill you before you want to do the other upper Norfair heated rooms. But of course they had Varia, so.
Yeah, and chat pointing out as well, the item here at ice, and it did end up being bombs. So it's not even just if gravity's here, you don't have to check screw. It's also if some other, space jump or bombs or even speed is here, you don't have to do the most miserable jump out of screw attack in the world.
Yeah. I think that's another reason to not really skip ice is if you don't have a way out of screw attack or the gravity suit, or rather delay it till after Lore Norfair when you have more information on whether or not you want to skip it entirely, basically.
Yeah, both these runners have practiced the high jump only CWJ out of screw attack, but it sucks.
It is a silly trick. So Eddie is going to go down to Lore Norfair first. It looks like they both are.
I think you have to here.
I think with high jump and a way out of screw attack, absolutely. I think you definitely can. Without a way out of screw attack, you should probably be doing Bubble Mountain first. There's an argument to make that bombs being your way out of screw attack is pretty slow still, though. But they're really kind of only looking for gravity suit at this point, and then one extra power bomb pack. Those bombs make crystal flashing past Botswoon much more reasonable, 2-frame trick, and a lot easier with better cues. And Eddie farming as well. This makes me think Eddie is either worried about the gate glitch or he might skip the screw attack check. Because you don't really need to farm for supers there when you can farm the rippers near screw attack.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, and Eddie's gonna have to take a second pass at this lava dive. It doesn't really matter, but I mean, he is falling behind.
Absolutely.
Certainly, yeah. Eddie has been known in the past to pop off in the late game.
Absolutely. And yep, a screw attack check here from Zeb. Absolutely. I think it'd be a little bit nuts to skip it, especially if you did this before Bubble Mountain in his situation. The only way Eddie might is maybe he's hoping to spike space jump and somewhere else and be able to do the underwater wall jumps, but I don't think so. I think this mode plays too fast. Okay.
So, interestingly, that is almost the only item that could have been there that neither helps out your beam damage, nor gives you an easier way out of this room, nor is gravity suit.
Yeah, that's actually the worst item that could have been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't. There's no more ammo that could be here because a super missile has to be at 230 or Gauntlet, and we've seen both missiles. An E-Tank would have helped them a little bit. Like, there's still the energy outstanding, but for the most part, that's the only useless item there.
Yeah, so at this point, no difference between our runners. Eddie has one extra missile pack. I don't remember where he even got that.
Yeah, I don't either, actually. No, it was probably Cathedral, if I had to guess.
Did Zeb not do Cathedral?
I did not see.
Oh, Zeb didn't grab it, that's it.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Okay. And Eddie is having a couple movement mistakes here. Something that I think is worth talking about when we have the discussion about this runner's movement versus another runner's movement. Rando movement is different, and Zeb, I think, is one of the best players of, like, when you're in the conversation of top player, Zeb is so different from everyone else in that he just doesn't do vanilla. His vanilla times are, like, decent but nothing special. But he doesn't mess up rooms because he does super consistent strats, and that has been extremely effective for him.
And another big thing with randomizer movement in general is experience under a lot of different loadouts. Because you're not realistically going to find a strat for every loadout in every room, and even if you do, you're going to mix them up all the time. So, like, just having a lot of experience going through these rooms under different loadouts is really helpful into being able to do something that doesn't cost you a lot of time or not make a lot of mistakes in really awkward situations, because the not having gravity in lower Norfair is something you don't realize can be an issue until you do it, and it becomes an issue sometimes.
And he's still grabbing these extra missile packs. It's kind of interesting. Zeb is kind of known as being the missile enjoyer, but in this situation with Charge, he just has not evaluated them to be worth it.
I think part of it is he's with what's outstanding. He's expecting to find another beam, and it's pretty early still. That there are a lot of places for a beam to pop up. So Dragon here with that grapple beam, that's really nice. So gravity suit can't be behind here, obviously, because Dragon cannot be holding the gravity suit at all. But that also means with what we found, almost any item you find here is going to be useful. You're only looking at, they found one Chozo tank, so they're looking to dodge 2 Chozo tanks and a reserve. And then there's a handful of other items that are very good for them here.
And we have Ice Beam. That's
pretty good. That is a Zebetide skip. That is really important in this mode. It's really easy to find both your suits and then forget that if you can't do Zebetide skip, you need a lot more ammo.
And at that point, that is
slower.
That is kind of a straight punishment for Zeb to pick up some, or excuse me, for Eddie to pick up some of those missile packs. Ice Beam's going to be better than picking up missile packs time-wise, and we don't have to worry about having enough ammo to kill Zebs.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, it's literally 2 missile packs. Like, it's not that big a deal. But
exactly. Yep.
In this mode, 15 seconds is non-trivial.
Absolutely. This mode certainly lends itself to incredibly close races. And easy grapple escape from both of them.
So then the next question here. Are you doing Croc?
Depends on what's at Bubble Mountain. With the charge beam, it is a little bit more attractive. But it's this mode plays really fast that I don't think either of them are going to do Croc, just because they can pretty safely assume that the other one isn't. And if you do Croc, you're basically putting all your eggs in the basket of Croc has gravity, and if it doesn't, I lose. Because I think it's pretty safe to assume the other person isn't going to do it. And like with this kind of loadout, the Croc check is 2.5 minutes probably. Like it's a lot of time.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's to the point that the only thing that can be there, really, is gravity suit.
Yep. And the hard part about it is since they don't have information about what boss is at grade boss, it's also a little tricky, because if gravity is at Croc, it'd be nice to have more information about, well, if Fantoon is at the grade boss, that's really nice, because then we know Wreck Ship, and there's 3 items up at Wreck Ship versus 1 at Croc. But that's not information that we have at this point.
A 15th power bomb pack doesn't really do anything for us, but it's more of a hassle to skip that item pickup without having speed.
And there's the wave beam.
So now our beam is great.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I think you only pick up a super pack if it's on the way, like you're literally walking past it. You're not really checking any extra, especially with 30. 30 is like a really good number to have of missiles and supers with charge beam. It's just a nice middle ground of like you've been searching a lot for ammo, but at this point you don't need any anymore. And we're kind of in a situation where you have to check everything, but you don't check Croc probably. I'd be very surprised if either runner did, but I've been surprised before.
I don't know if I'd say I'd be surprised. I don't think it's unreasonable to check. Oh,
I don't think Eddie does now.
Eddie, no shot in hell Eddie does now.
Yeah, there's no way Eddie checks Croc now. Eddie would be very comfortable with a suitless Meridia here. Suitless in this mode is really slow though. Suitless, because this mode plays so fast, you have less like time loss to work with by doing something like suitless basically. So if you're committing to suitless in a lot of cases, you're depending on if you're doing like a backdoor underwater wall jump suitless, I don't know how that times, but if you're doing like full suitless from Main Street, you're kind of betting gravity is at Croc at that point, because even if gravity is at the Chozo at bowling, it comes out almost even, if not faster, to just full clear wreck ship and then go through Meridia in this mode. Especially with Dragon already dead, because then you don't have to fight Batoon or anything, and you could just go through the Forgotten Highway to get to Dragon really fast from wreck ship. If Dragon hadn't shown up yet, then I think Suitless is more attractive, actually. The going up Main Street Suitless.
Agreed. Like, our runners don't even necessarily have suitless equipment yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If Fantoon's here, then they still don't.
Mm-hmm.
If we specifically find Kraid and Fantoon between Kraid and wreck ship.
Yep. Because they need Spring Ball, or they need a specific boss at the Dragon boss and Speed Booster. Or do you need Speed Booster to get out with the Ridley grab jump, right?
No.
Yeah. You don't? Okay. Just high jump. Okay. So it needs to be Ridley there, or they need Speed Booster or Spring Ball with like Kraid there. Okay, so Ridley's here.
Eddie's been making up some decent time.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I wish... What was their ammo like when they went down Lower Norfair? There might have been an argument to do this boss before going to Upper Norfair if they had the ammo in case it was Ridley, but I don't recall what their ammo was.
I'm not sure. It must have been 30 supers already, right? Because I don't think they found any. Maybe they found one in high jump location.
Yeah. And there's Speed Booster. The thing is
Eddie's gonna have to use some charge shots. He missed 2 supers.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the thing is if Zeb is committing to suitless, he's basically coin flipping. That's on top of where the gravity location is. He's kind of just hoping
There's no way
Fantoon's not
Zeb
there.
does suitless here.
Yeah, I don't think you can, because Kraid has to be there without Spring Ball to be able to spark out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much is going to be determined here by which boss is in wreck ship.
Okay, so Eddie's not getting a spike suit. He's going to go up to wreck ship.
Mm-hmm.
What he could have done is use the spike suit to spark past the sandfall rooms to get to the Meridia tube green door. But it looks like he's just going to go and check the Fantoon boss, which I think is the right play, because you can just go through if it's not Fantoon there, you can just go through Forgotten Highway. I've already forgotten it. You can just go through Forgotten Highway to get there much more easily without any sort of spike suit shenanigans for his underwater wall jump technology. And then if Phantoon isn't here, and the item behind Crate is not Gravity, Zeb is... It's debatable if going back down to Croc is faster than Suitless, but I think he has to because he doesn't have Spring Ball yet, so...
Now, the super interesting situation is this is Phantoon here and Gravity's at bowling.
Yes.
Because if Eddie games by doing underwater wall jump, he can make up time on Zeb in that situation. But he should only be able to make up, I think, like 20 seconds. And I want to say Zeb is somewhere around 30 seconds ahead right now. So it becomes extremely close.
I think like underwater wall jumping is the middle ground play. I don't know if they timed it. I figured if like the E-Tank isn't Gravity, it's like 50-50 for Croc or bowling, and instead of just like coin flipping going to bowling, you can just underwater wall jump as like your middle ground option, I think. But
I'm
it
pretty
really
sure
depends.
Eddie timed it out to be faster than going to bowling, than Gravity bowling.
That wouldn't surprise me either, just because so many of the rooms with space jump to get through Coliseum and stuff and everything, it's pretty nice.
But I'm not sure if that timing accounts for getting Raid Super. I forget what Eddie said.
Also, I did misspeak earlier. If this wasn't Phantoon, Eddie couldn't have gone through Forgotten Highway. I just like completely brain.
I thought you were saying if like East Meridia isn't Phantoon.
No, I was saying if this isn't, but yeah.
Oh, Ralph Doppler.
In general, though, this mode plays too fast, I think, for Suitless. Like in Major Minor, Gravity can be buried way deeper with like a late speed with like Waterway, and there's so much more to check. There's just so much fewer locations to check for the Gravity suit that it pretty much has to be at Croc that both players skipped for Suitless to be worthwhile.
Yeah. Eddie's lost a pretty fair chunk of time on this Phantoon fight, unfortunately. Alright, moment of truth here. If this specifically is not Gravity, Eddie's underwater wall jumping. There we go.
There's the second E-Tank.
That's true. There's Rex Shippy.
Yeah, this is possibly the seed that one of the few seeds that Zeb doesn't want to see against Eddie.
It's funny because the obvious storyline of this was going to be, you know, Eddie moves better, but Zeb can potentially rando better. Zeb's been ahead.
Yeah.
And
it's the
because of
familiarity
rando
with
tech.
Yep.
Oh, with like 15 asterisks after it calling underwater wall jump rando tech.
Yeah, I think Eddie is going to underwater wall jump here.
Beautiful thing.
That's 2 underwater wall jump seeds in these finals.
And he's grabbing this E-Tank, I guess just for insurance.
I don't mind picking it up without Gravity. You're in an uncomfortable situation. It's 7 seconds for a full heal.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything in Meridia hits like a truck.
Yeah, especially without that Gravity suit. the big thing is this is maybe the one mode where you can argue that 7 seconds might cost you, but in other modes, like, if I'm going into an unfamiliar area and I'm already right there, I would take that 7 seconds for a full heal. Unless
That's
I
absolutely valid.
specifically... Yeah, unless I specifically needed to be damaged down for like a crystal flash or something. Because even in practice, right, these areas, you're not practicing screwing up these areas, you're practicing doing them right. So it still is pretty unfamiliar if you've not done it in a live environment kind of setting a bunch of times.
So Zeb absolutely 100% for sure needs gravity suit to be here, or he's dead unless absolute catastrophe befalls Eddie.
Yeah. This is one of those really rare seeds that kind of come down to... Because it's really hard to justify checking Croc leaving Norfair with how many potential locations are still open.
Yeah.
And
It's
how
like
long it takes.
It's the thing of, it's a play, but in these finals, Zeb and Eddie, like, we talk a lot about making plays if you're less favored or whatnot, like what's the better, like, upset mode and stuff like that. But and that's it, you have to believe, you're in the finals, you have to believe that you are the best player of your mode, and you kind of have to act like that.
Yeah, definitely. You can't really try to make plays. I think you have to play for your percentages. And in this case, it just didn't work out for Zeb. It's the Croc check takes so long that if it's not there, you kind of, lose. And obviously, if it is there, you would expect your opponent to possibly do the same thing, unless they're not favored and you're trying to play safe against them to like account for them making a play like that. But it's just we're in a situation where this play is possible, unfortunately.
Chad asking, was that gravity or the reserve?
Yep, it was the reserve. Because the bowling item is the Chozo behind there, and it's not the actual gravity suit item. So.
Oh my god, textbook.
Textbook. Yeah, and Zeb is still going to Croc. Because, I mean, we know Kraid is here, so he could get out without Spring Ball, but, I mean, it's pretty dang close. With these movement items that Zeb has with the speed booster and everything, it honestly might still be faster. Just go do Croc for the gravity suit, and then do Meridia normally.
Alright, nice backup there on the Kraid quick kill for Eddie.
And Eddie definitely checks this, because almost any item helps him. Oh, that's the last super? Okay.
Technically, that would have helped him. But I think it's fine.
I thought we saw both. Oh, wait. I'm confused.
Did we?
Oh, power bombs are a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Because the charge beam was the first super.
Yeah, we never saw power bombs. It had to be.
Yep, I was thinking gauntlet was a super because we saw both missiles, but no, now gauntlet has to be a power bomb to get to those supers as your first ammo at charge beam. It's useless information at this point, but that is still the kind of the cool thing with this mode, is that you can figure stuff out like this. It works really well with area sometimes too. Depending on, with certain starts, you can actually make some deductions about portal locations, or like this area has to have a portal that connects me to the bottom of Green Bryn or something.
It is funny though. I mean, I was kind of wondering if you're Zeb, does seeing that space jump change the calculus for you? And
Yeah,
I don't think you can let it, but
yeah, that is like a thought to have, right? Because like a meta thought that okay, Eddie can underwater wall jump. We see that space jump, so like I now lose if it's at Croc, as opposed to if we hadn't seen that space jump and it's not come up yet. He doesn't necessarily lose if it's at Croc, because if it's at Croc, then they're both in this situation of needing to come down here. And it possibly changed the calculus a little bit, but ultimately didn't change his decision.
mhm.
I know
It's
Zeb is a big believer in just playing it the same way, kind of regardless of your opponent. I mean, obviously, certain opponents you'll play a little bit safer against, but don't go too extreme on it, because you're just sometimes you can play yourself out of a match if you don't just play your game.
yeah. Chad asking is Eddie go mode. He absolutely is. He's going to Turian right now.
Yep.
If he can ever get his space jump, nice.
Because yeah, against any other, like most other opponents,
Hmm.
if this happens, Zeb is not in a bad situation because it happened
Right.
to them too, most likely, unless they made the choice to check Crocomire, which I mean, it is a play, it is a gamble, because it's if gravity's not there, you just kind of lose, and there's no like contingency, right?
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, even in that situation, it's like you're still checking Croc last because your opponent either got grab and didn't have to check all that other stuff anyway, or they're and you lose whether or not you do Croc immediately after like Wreck Ship E, or if they didn't do it and you just still do your normal path. But I mean, it'll be interesting, I think, next season to see. We're definitely seeing more people who are capable of underwater wall jump, like by a lot. So yeah, I think it's not unreasonable to see underwater wall jump become next season what hypo jump was this season, where nobody knew it and then suddenly everyone knew it.
Yeah, people demonstrated that it's possible, or rather, like not completely unreasonable on controller. It's not just some keyboard or hitbox tech. Eddie
Mm-hmm.
himself has shown it's done possible on controller. I know Professor School has been grinding it. There's been plenty of players who have been doing it on controller.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things I'm gonna want to learn with not my main controller, just in case. It's a lot of back and forth on that D-pad. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
ruin my really good controller. but
Absolutely. A
but
good
once you
D-pad
know
is
it,
hard to find.
oh exactly. But once you know it, like it's not like you're gonna be grinding it enough to ruin your D-pad once you know it. So, and really, it's the big thing that allows it is the boss shuffle with Dragon accessible. You can just
Mm-hmm.
come through this way because it's
Yeah.
not even with keyboard. No one's really been able to reasonably like underwater wall jump through to get to Dragon the main way in a way that's fast. It's really
Yeah.
just it's
That's
hard to
just
chain more than
ridiculous.
a couple it's hard to chain more than a couple together, because if you mess up one, it's just you don't recover really.
There's a reason that even the people who do underwater wall jump want space jump for, or like need space jump for it, really.
Yeah.
And I do want to be clear. It's not like this is going to change the face of Rando. This mode is almost tailor designed for underwater wall jump, and it still comes up every now and then.
Yeah, this is one of those underwater wall jump is like comes up in a situation where your gravity is at one of two spots, and only one of those spots does it outright win you the match. As tech to know, basically. It's not incredibly powerful in most seeds. Like, this was just that one seed where Graph showed up in one of those two spots where you'll see underwater wall jumping, and it happened to be at the one where it kind of just outright wins you the match.
All right, and barring some triple hit catch-up situation or something, this should be it.
Yup. Without gravity, Mother Brain still is spooky. He has Ice Beam, which helps. I know I've ran into situations where I've been on like Wave and been like, oh, it's not, the Mother Brain's not that bad, but forget I don't have Ice Beam, so you take a ton of damage on the Renkas before Mother Brain
absolutely.
1, and you're like, I only have 3 tanks, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Now I gotta do 120 charge shot Mother Brain with 320 energy.
Yeah, I've been in that exact situation. It's not fun.
Yep, I'm like, I do 3 tanks all the time, this won't be that bad, and it's like, oh, I don't have Ice Beam, this is terrible, I'm scared.
Guess that's why everyone should learn low percent speed. Gives you some great rando tech all around.
Yeah, low percent speed it's a category. I remember before I'd ever been able to complete low percent, I was gonna do low percent ice and accidentally grab charge missiles. So I said, okay, this is gonna be low percent speed now, and it was a bad idea.
And that's that. Eddie, don't overdo it.
You gotta be really careful damaging here, because she deals twice as much. Really easy to get double hit.
He has a reserve,
He has a reserve, yeah. It will be interesting to ask Zeb if the space jump showing up did change his thought process, or maybe even make him consider checking Croc. I don't think he probably made the right mathematical decision. It just came down to a bit of being unlucky with how the seed landed. I think they both played it kind of exactly how you should. And ironically enough, I think this mode is a little bit more interesting actually when you find both suits early and you have to like leverage which majors to skip. In terms of like, you're not looking necessarily for anything to help you beat the game outright, but you're looking for stuff that'll make beating the game faster. Is
100%
like a really,
agree. Yeah.
It's a really interesting situation to be in, as opposed to when a suit is late and you kind of have to check everything, because it's very rare to be able to skip a suit in this mode and win.
Yeah, I kind of resent when people say, like, this mode's boring because it's basically vanilla. Because really, what this game mode is it is sort of putting your micro decision-making test to the limit.
Absolutely. And in situations where the suits end up late, it's a bit less so, because you kind of can't afford to be skipping stuff other than Croc. Just because the suit's not shown up yet. And it's too important. But when it shows up early, it can become really interesting in terms of what you decide to check and what you don't. And actually, what I started doing near the end was, instead of using a tracker, I have a notepad with every Chozo item. And as soon as I got one, I just deleted that line from my notepad. So it made it really easy to see the total number of items remaining and how many of those are good. Because that plays really heavy into like what you check when you're in go mode.
Absolutely. I liked that item switch to the music.
Yeah, Eddie's got to feel pretty good here. I think, because even if Zeb does. The only way he loses is that Zeb does Croc leaving. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess
He doesn't
actually
know that
he
gravity
doesn't
wasn't
know.
at bowling. In
Yeah.
which case, it's possible Zed just wins on like Eddie maybe doesn't feel good about his movement or whatever. But
Hmm.
regardless, Eddie does finish in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 49 minutes and 10 seconds, bringing the Bullies up 2-0. V.I.L.E.P.L.U.M.E's sweating a little bit here in the finals. Absolutely GG to Eddie. Just incredibly done. Showed off some great movement, some great tech, and brought it home for the Bullies.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think both of them played the seed pretty well. I don't. There's not really much you can criticize about how they played it. I think it just kind of worked out in Eddie's favor with the tech that he knows.
It looks like Eddie is waiting and setup might be waiting just join at the same time as Zeb. Again, Mark Zeb done a bit early just so we get them both coming in now.
Yeah, we got a double header going, so it'd be nice to...
Yeah. And while we are waiting on those two to join us for interviews, be sure to go follow both of these runners. Go follow Zeb316 and go follow Eddie.
Yeah, they're both fantastic. Zeb knows a lot about Rando. Someone who's always willing to have his brain picked about Randomizer, even if it's his opponent that coming week, you know. And Eddie is pretty into Randomizer now too, but also look out for him in the 100% tournament. I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah, you know, when Stasio invited Eddie back for the Chicago Bullies, Eddie was like, you know, sure, I'll do that, but like, I'm not going to practice or anything, so don't expect anything.
That's what I said too.
Some rando gets you hooked.
Yep.
Just there's so much sick stuff in SM Rando, and I'm really glad the scene has been popping off so much. And we are joined now by both Eddie and Zeb. GG's to both of you.
GG.
Yep, GG.
First thing I said when I finished was I can't GG, and then the second thing I said is I can't believe it, and then Zeb said I can't either.
Yeah, right. This situation is 1 in 1,000 seeds, right?
Where... I cannot believe it that it actually came up.
Exactly. I mean, even has this situation ever even happened in any of the practice ones that you guys have done? I don't think so.
It got close. But no.
Yeah. And I am curious to hear, Zeb, when you saw Space Jump there at Speed Booster, did that change your mental calculus about whether you wanted to do Croc at all?
Not really. Like, I still felt like... So, basically, when I saw Space Jump, there's still, like... I was all, like... My first thought was, like, crap, there's Space Jump here. Like, and then my second thought was, like, wait, no, this is fine. Like, we don't have a way out of Precious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was all like, okay, we need, like, either Speed or Spring Ball. And I was like, and we don't have either, so I'm probably fine. And then I kill Ridley and I see Speed, and I'm like, well, crap. But, like, then I was still like, well, it's fine as long as Fantoon isn't vanilla. And then Fantoon was vanilla. And I was like, are you kidding? And I was like, okay, it's still fine as long as Gravity's in these next two checks.
Yep.
I mean, I think even if it's at bowling, it's not terrible for you.
It would be like...
Yeah, it loses I think it loses
or
like a minute.
Yeah.
Or something. So.
Yeah.
My execution without grab, actually, like, I got stuck in M1 because of the lava. Like, I forgot about that. And then Zeb Skip, I got stuck in Zeb Skip because I couldn't get the freeze right away, and then I kind of messed it up, so I had to wait. And then I fell in the acid, and I can't jump up because of the acid. And then I got stuck in the fish room leaving Meridia for like five years basically. But yeah, I knew I was in a really good spot. I was just I can't believe the seed actually came up. exactly what I needed, honestly.
Yeah, I'm curious what would have like. I'm curious how long it takes to go down and kill Crocomire. Like, if I actually would have won, if it were at the top of Wreck Ship, or if it was like already decided at that point. But
If it
I
were at the top of Wreck Ship, it would have been really close.
I think
yeah,
you might have
Zeb
won,
was a bit ahead.
I think you might
Zeb
have
was
won.
ahead going there going into Wreck Ship. And I think it would have been really close if it was there.
Mhm.
GG's up. I just see your game feed finishing up. But yeah, I think when I timed it out, I think I did some like really rough testing, and it's like if you kind of do it smoothly, like you could, if it's at the top of Wreck Ship, I could save like 30 plus seconds ish. Like, but
That's almost exactly what you needed.
Yeah, and that would have been like, so that would have been like, if you got grabbed right there, I think it would have been like unbelievably close. I think. I suspect you might have won because I made a lot of mistakes like when I was trying to leave Meridia. So at the very end, actually, the part that I didn't expect to be difficult was the parts kind of slowed me down. But that was crazy.
Yeah, it's always funny if you don't do a lot of gravity-less randomizers, then you get into the situation and a bunch of stuff you don't think about all of a sudden comes to fruition with not having gravity suit.
Did we do the same route at the start? I was kind of like hesitant, but I feel like maybe we did the same thing, but I'm not really sure.
Nearly everything was the same up until underwater wall jump. Like, Eddie, you picked up 2 extra missile packs.
Yeah.
Yes, I kept like running into them without like thinking, I forgot I have charge, I don't need these.
Okay, yeah.
But I kept like doing it by accident. Like the power bomb's a shame one, I think, was missiles, and I couldn't like stop myself.
So I had the thought a little too late. But what was your ammo situation going down into Business Center? Were you guys at 30 supers yet?
I think we were 25.
25, okay.
And so I was thinking about going to the boss to start. But I would have had to farm for Ridley potential.
Yeah.
And like Dragon would be like, if Dragon's there, it's not great either. It could be fine, but it's not like fantastic because gravity can't be behind Dre, and that's like what you're really looking for in that situation to like be able to skip stuff.
Yeah, my thought was also, I mean, you're not looking for it necessarily, but it is serendipitous in like this seed where it's slightly more information for Croc, right? Like, if you know Fantoon's there. I mean, I don't think you ever do Croc leaving. It's really hard.
It's kind of close if you think that like it's 50-50 between Fantoon and Kraid up. If it's Kraid, it's like 1 check versus 1 check. If it's Fantoon, then yeah, you probably just want to go up, but you don't know that, so.
Yeah, exactly. It's 1 check versus 1 check, and the 1 check is a place you have to go to anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are less than 5 minutes out from the 3rd race in this series. So, any closing comments, possibly for the last time this tournament from either runner?
I want to thank Zeb for this victory. Zeb quite literally trained me. Basically, I would just play a seed, and then if it ever was confusing, I would just like start pinging Zeb, be like, Zeb, help me. Zeb, what do you do here? And then I like record all my videos, and I'm like, Zeb, can you record your videos and show me how you play it? So Zeb quite literally trained me up from a little fledgling. So this is entirely Zeb's fault for allowing me to have a chance at beating him, because I never beat him at the start, like ever, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if Zeb was doing it before you started hounding him, but Zeb and Eddie, they record all their races. Yep. It's pretty big, and it's nice teaching tape for anyone, right? Like, I think the best way to improve it at Randomizer is you don't even necessarily have to be talking to the best player, but just discussing stuff. Because when you're playing it in the moment, it's hard to think about everything. But being able to discuss stuff can often lead you to correct answers that you can then use in the future.
Yeah. And I guess I'll give a quick closing thought before like the next race is about to start. So yeah, it was really cool to see you guys in the finals, Eddie, having like played so much against you. Like, I thought that was really cool. It does kind of suck to lose in this way, like especially knowing that I was like ahead before like that happened. But hopefully Nevdi can at least get us to a game 4. I'm really hoping to at least get like another game out of this series. So
Nebby's a
Yeah.
nice individual. I think he'll pull through.
Yeah, Nefty's a nice individual. Nefty's my friend.
Prime
Anyway,
targets for bullies. Nice individuals are prime targets for bullies.
yeah. Anyway, as we not really close out, but just get ready for the next race, be sure to go follow both of these runners. Go follow Zeb316. Go follow Eddie. If you would be so kind, follow the broadcast team as well. We've had Paragon on tracking. I've been Glove, joined on comms by a real cutie. We got Crazed Gamer and DJ Webb coming up to comm the next one. Be sure to stick around. It will be literally a couple minutes. And with everything out of the way, we'll see you next minute. Next mission.
Next minute.
I mean, yeah.